This is how anyone should try out for a football team. This is it right here.
This is SportsCentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Roberto, and this is Digital Sports Center presented by TELUS. Canada's men already punched their ticket to Paris on Sunday, but had a chance to advance to the semis of the World Cup this morning, facing Luka Doncic and Slovenia in the quarters. Second quarter, Shai kicks it out. Gilgeous-Alexander Walker flies in for the dunk. The Cousins combined for 27 points in the first half. Later, Luka spins off Dylan Brooks and finishes in traffic. It was tied at 50 at the break. Third quarter, Shai slices to the hoop and scores. Canada takes the lead, and they'd stretch it to as much as 16. In the fourth, Brooks with some words for the Slovenian player, doing one of his favorite things, just stirring things up. But he'd actually get ejected for what was deemed a disqualifying foul. Later, Luka going to work in the post, hits the deck but no foul. He argues and gets his second tech, so he also gets tossed. Now 3 minutes to go, Shai hits the leaner plus the foul, as Canada comes away with the win. Gilgeous-Alexander leads the way for Canada with 31 points, and they hold Luka to 26 on 8 of 20 shooting. So with that, Canada's through to the semis on Friday, where they will face Serbia, while the US and Germany battle for the other spot in the final. And back in the tunnel, Brooks waiting for his teammates with boxing gloves on. Would you expect anything else from this guy? What a hype man. To football, and pat yourselves on the back, NFL fans. You have lasted 206 days since the Super Bowl, and we are now just one day away from the 2023 season. We've talked plenty about Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs leading up to tomorrow's game, and we dipped our toe into the Lions' mouth yesterday, but let's talk about them a little more today. FanDuel currently has them as the favorites in the NFC North after they missed out on the playoffs by a tie break last season. Getting there would be a nice step for Detroit, and a postseason win would be their first since 1991. But ESPN's Dan Orlovsky has his sights set higher.
Where's the flaw of the football team? Their offensive line is going to be a top 3 unit in the NFL. They got a budding superstar in Amon-Ra St. Brown. They got a budding superstar in Aiden Hutchinson. A remade secondary that's got C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Sutton and Mosley. Brian Branch, they drafted out. Everyone's going to say, well, Jared Goff. That's the question mark? A guy that statistically in his career has thrown for like 150-plus touchdowns and like 60 picks? You tell me. You guys tell me that Jared Goff is the biggest question mark of a football team that has got this is the best roster 30 years in Detroit. 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have any question marks about Jared Goff.
Goff did bounce back after a couple of rough years with one of his best seasons in 2022. And he was remarkable down the stretch when the Lions won 8 of their last 10 games. Meanwhile, a note on tomorrow's game, Travis Kelce has apparently avoided a major knee injury, as Ian Rappaport is reporting there has been no structural damage. He'll be reevaluated today, but his status is in limbo for the opener. And remember, you can catch the Lions and Chiefs on TSN. Kickoff at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And another reminder with the season about to get underway. You might want to get TSN Plus because it's the new home of NFL Red Zone. To subscribe, go to tsn.ca/TSN Plus or just click the link below.
510 yards he threw. The quarterback for Colorado. 510 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Listen, I love grannies who love all sports, baseball, football specifically. They get real into it. And I love this granny. Time enough, my favorite segment and yours, Why We Love Sports Today.
Why we love sports today.
And yesterday we talked Colorado football under Deion Sanders and the historic performance by Travis Hunter in their season opener. But Deion's son Shedeur also made history in his first start at quarterback.
The quarterback for Colorado. 510 yards and 4 touchdowns. I had to sit there.
Did you jump up and holler?
Yes, I did. I was by myself and I'm hollering and carrying on like I was in the stadium or something. Oh, yeah.
Oh, cardiac arrest.
I could have.
Isn't that the sweetest cake when Granny approves? You know, that's the approval that I want most. Deion's son followed him from Jackson State, and those 510 yards in his debut set a Colorado record. And his famous father is not the only one coaching him. Shedeur also has an NIL deal with Tom Brady's apparel company, and has even worked out with him in the past. He said Brady texted him after the game and had some simple advice. Don't be satisfied. Ooh, Q Hamilton. He will never be satisfied. And sticking with QBs, yesterday we showed you Riley Leonard's plea to his professor. Well, Professor Taylor has since responded.
Professor Taylor, if you're seeing this, please let me turn in my homework late because it's due tonight, I think at 12, so it may already be 12.
Hey Riley, great game last night, man. It was so exciting. Congratulations to you and all your teammates. But you know, Wesley Williams and the other linemen who were in the class, they said they prepared ahead and did it ahead of time, so why didn't the quarterback? So no way, man. No extension.
Now, when I first saw the plea, I called BS because, let's be real, he's a football player. He's a quarterback. I feel like he can get away with anything. But apparently this school is very serious about their education. So maybe this is for real, but I still think he got away with it. To hockey and some big news out of the PWHL yesterday and this morning, as the first official signings were announced. So let's start in Ottawa, where the team inked Saski's very own Emily Clark, as well as Brianne Jenner and Emmerin Smashmeyer. The trio has represented Canada numerous times internationally, and they will be in Ottawa for 3 years. Clark was second in the PWHPA in scoring last year, and Jenner was also in the top 10, so that gives Ottawa a dynamic duo up front. Meanwhile, Mashmeyer had a goals against under 3. And they're going to be going up against some familiar faces in the Battle of Ontario. The franchise in the Six announced its first 3 players today. A big surprise, another trio of Olympians, with Sarah Nurse, Blair Turnbull, and Renata Fast. For Nurse and Fast, it's a homecoming because they're from Ontario and played on the same PWHPA team last year. Nurse and Turnbull were both among the leading scorers. So it's an interesting approach to see the first 2 teams focus largely on forwards. And perhaps the greatest Olympian of all is reportedly heading to Montreal, as Marie-Philippe Poulin is expected to sign with that franchise, along with her fiancé, Laura Stacey. If these signings are not getting you excited about this new league, I mean, I don't know what will. I am so over the moon to see some familiar faces that'll hopefully bring in a new audience along with all of the incredible fans that you've seen already watching women's hockey. That's all for today with Syrup at Kindermouth 3 Eastern, no Pacific. Have a good one.